we come to what is known as the so-called rapture of Elijah. Kidnapping is also a wrong definition because Elijah was not kidnapped. Elijah knew well that he would have to get on the ruach of the Elohim and go away with them, so much so that the Bible itself says so from the first chapter of the second book of Kings. It says there, when Yahweh was about to lift Elijah into heaven in a whirlwind, he left Galgala with Elisha. Therefore, Elijah leaves, knowing that he will then have to travel with Yahweh and the Elohim. The interesting thing is that during this journey that he makes on foot to go to the place where he will then climb onto the Elohim's chariot, he meets the disciples. He leaves with his disciple Elisha. But others join the journey, and everyone knows that Elijah is about to leave with the chariot of the Elohim. Everyone knows it's not a vision, it's something planned. So much so that they walk for several days, and reaching various inhabited centers, other disciples join, and at the end, 50 disciples also went and stopped in front of them from afar. They are Elijah and Elisha, and they stopped from afar while the two went as far as Jordan. Now, while they were walking and talking, here is the chariot of fire with the horses of fire. A description exactly the same as the one we saw in the Homeric poems. This chariot of fire, which is called Reshev, and it comes between the two. Elijah gets on the chariot and goes away in a whirlwind. This is an important concept that we will soon find in those translations. Now, it is clear that it is not a vision because Elijah voluntarily goes to the place where he knows he will get on the chariot. It is clear that it is not a kidnapping because Elijah goes voluntarily. It is clear that it is a planned action because all the disciples are aware of it. It is clear that it is a concrete action. Why? Because immediately after the event occurs, the disciples go to look for him because they say, "Let them go to look for Elijah. Perhaps the Ruach of Yahweh lifted him up and threw him on some mountain or in some valley." But he replied, "Elisha, don't send them." However, they insisted. That is, they were so certain of this concrete action that they say, "We saw him take it, he took it up, he took it away, he must have deposited it somewhere, and so let's go look for him." They searched for him for 3 days but did not find him. And nothing would ever be known about Elijah again until the moment in which he reappears together with Moses, when Jesus has the famous transfiguration and is one of the two undead. One of the two, the other is Moses. One of the two undead who present themselves to Jesus. I say undead because you will remember that I have already talked about how Josephus tells us that Moses, when he had to go to die, goes to the valley of Moab, then a cloud arrives and takes him away. He is taken away on a cloud, and Josephus says, I've read it to you at least a couple of times, that Moses was forced to write that he was dead, so that no one would say that he had gone away with the divinities. So Elijah, like Moses, leaves with the deities exactly as Enoch had done previously. So here too, we have another event which cannot be defined as a dream, which cannot be defined as a vision, because it is very concrete. Dozens of people witness it, and it is so concrete that these dozens of people decide to go and look for Elijah, convinced that Elijah would be deposited somewhere around there.